This goddamn morning again. Um, it's that time where we just made it down the stairs. We spot the presents under the tree. We can't open them yet. We gotta wait for everyone to gather around, hand them out, etc. But we do get to eyeball the shapes of everything. So we are excited. We're gonna go through the patch notes. We're gonna try to do it kind of quick. There are a decent amount of them. There are some very, very impactful changes. There's a lot of mediocre changes. Really excited about all of them, really. So let's go. Expansion, Max Dangerous Experiment is now available for 3,000 gems, and tier 15 to the prize pass. You can get it one of the other ways, same thing. Or we could pay 3,000 gems to get Pygs investment opportunities, or get it at tier 30. Little sad that we got to wait till 30 for this one. We do have some new toys that will hold us over in the meantime, but we don't get to open the big box just yet. Dooley Dualtron expansion and Vanessa's The Gang expansion are now unlocked for all players. So if you didn't get that far into the prize pass, you have them now. They're going to do this. We're going to get these two released at the end of this season. I love this. That was one of my favorite changes they did on the monetization. Super happy about it. Here's the big one. Here's the biggest change in the whole game. Heal now cleanses 10% of burn and poison effects instead of removing 1 stack each. Holy shit, you guys. Holy shit. We actually can counter poison and burn to some decent degree. Not just ointment. We could run all kinds of things to run a counter to this. Now, there's a lot of changes we're going to see below. We got a bunch of regen changed to our kit. A bunch of our heal was converted over to regen. Enough that some of those items legitimately can let us do regen shenanigans. But it does mean some of the things that just popped into your head as broken as hell, like your 4-second bushel that you could trigger to go faster with other shield items, do not actually heal anymore. They regen, and regen does not cleanse, only heal cleanses. However, the next line, it's a couple lines down. We'll get to it. However, yeah, lifesteal counts as heal, and so that lifesteal also does this. So there is some Mak builds that I have a feeling just became deeply dominant. Already weren't bad, by the way, and nothing got changed to him. So I see Mak coming out on top so far. We'll talk about it. All right, radiant enchantments have been removed from most passive items. So most items that are passive, so they can't, so it doesn't matter if they're frozen or slowed, can no longer catch that enchant. Positive change. Fix an issue where the items with cooldown adjusting effects, such as Hammock and Sea Shadow, could not be hasted. Interesting. That's actually really important for Sea Shadow because there's an item being added to her kit that paired with Sea Shadow would have been busted as hell if you were able to haste that package. So that's actually really important. Hammock can't be hasted is probably important since you can get Hammock down to 3 seconds and Hammock now cleanses. So that's good. Mak now starts with 250 health. Probably the second biggest change in the game. Day 1 Mak is a goddamn menace. Day 1 Mak is probably gonna start taking Vanessa's lunch money. I'm scared of Mak. If you can't tell. Sure, weekly specials enabled. Sweet. Now, if that means that I'm going to be able to find my Pygmalion holding Bob on his shoulders, I am the happiest clam in the bowl. I don't know what that metaphor was, y'all. Daily specials are now purchasable with US dollars. Cool. They always were, just with extra steps, but cool. Daily specials no longer repeat on back-to-back days. Cool. I haven't seen that too much. I just like them to not repeat until I've gotten through the whole pile, but, that's cool. Daily specials no longer show cosmetics you already have purchased until they have all have been purchased. Fan-fucking-tastic. That one was obnoxious. I'm like, I go into your shop and you go, I have nothing available for you today. You cannot pay me money for things. Just felt like a weird way to quit capitalism. Rank changes. I do not know. They did not announce, so I do not think that there are any rank changes for Legend. But I'm very curious if there are, because these kind of imply it. And we do know that they drop things in patch notes all the time. So very curious if Legend got any changes or if Legend functions the way that it did before. But it will get progressively more and more difficult to move up the tiers. Some people are going to bottom out at particular tiers. It is no longer you play enough games, you automatically rank. Okay? It's going to be upsetting to people. And it's fair. But there will be people that will bottleneck at ranks. So at bronze, it works the way it always did. At 4 wins, you get a point. At 7 to 9 wins, 2 points. At 10 wins, 3 points. Cool. Cool. Silver. Actually, no. That's faster than it was, wasn't it? No, it was 1 point. It was 2 points. It was 3 points. No. That's... I don't know why 3 points sounds like more to me. But I think that was correct. That was the way it always worked. That's fine. At silver, 5 to 7 wins gets 1 point. So they move the bar up 1 on both of these. So you have to get to 5 instead of just 4 to be able to get your point at silver. So if you only get a 4-win run, you lose points at silver now. 8 to 9 wins, pretty thin margin, gets 2 points, and 10 wins get 3. At gold, the margin to not lose points gets even thinner. A 5-win run loses you points. You have to win 6 to 8. 6 to 8 wins to get 1. You got to get a 9 winner for 2. You got to get 10 wins for 3 points. And then at diamond, only 7-win runs break even. This is functionally brutal. Only 7-win runs break even. Everything else is losing. Anything not a 7-win is a loss. You went down in rank. And I'm assuming that this is what diamond will be, or what legend will be. And therefore, it definitely deeply affects how you go up and down. It's not just speed anymore. Your consistency matters a lot. And you will only move up rank in diamond with 10-win runs. Getting to legend became very hard. If it resets inside of a month, getting to legend became a deep accomplishment. Doing this in a month? I don't know, man. I don't play enough games for that shit. I don't think I'm getting legend. I'm going to try my ass off, but that's thin. So I think a lot of people are going to be very deeply happy with this, and then I think a lot of people are going to be pretty upset. I hope that they did not change the structure, and they did not announce that they did, so we assume that they didn't, of how you get chests, because I don't think you should be punished as you go up the ladder to get less rewards. Doesn't make sense, and I don't think they're doing it because they didn't announce it. So newer players struggling to get enough gems to buy your shit, this will not affect you at all. This will not affect you at all. All this is rank, which is generically cosmetic anyway. There's a couple of free cosmetics you get as you move each rank tier. It's not much. It's not much. Don't worry too much about that. So we're gonna have feels about that. I understand all the arguments. They all seem valid to me. Okay. Item spawner. Updated the behavior of the spawning to reduce the number of duplicate items from spawners, such as fishing rod. This is massive. Am I not going to go up against a proboscis with 47 chimeras? I still feel like I'm going to. Still feel like that's going to happen. But, cool. Super happy. I don't know. Reduce is a weird word to use. If they said eliminate, I'd be like, cool. If they say reduce, I'm like, that seems sketchy. But cool. All right. Mountain Pass. This is a big one. All the encounters, we're gonna have to play through some of these to get how this is, but Mountain Pass now triggers a random outcome. So you click on it and you just get what you get. You can fight a monster from the same day, 25% chance. A monster from the next day, 25% chance. So 50% chance of getting a monster. 40% chance of a positive outcome. I have a feeling that's going to be you get a free XP or you get a free item. 10% chance of a negative outcome. We don't know what this is yet. People are speculating that it is lose hit points, like a 2% hit points, lose an XP, lose money. We don't know. But all of those sound terrifying. So it deeply depends on how rough this is. If this is not lose XP, this is still the most important encounter in the game. You will still always pick it. 50% of the time you get significantly more XP, you get more gold, and you get items, assuming you win the fight, is just too much to pass on. If you lose an XP from this, then it will depend on where you are in achieving the XP bump to the next day on whether or not you choose this, but this is still likely going to be the most important encounter in the game by virtue of it still being common. Obviously, there's some of these down here that are deeply, deeply important. Like you see formed, it suddenly becomes pretty important. Anyway, Futura, I don't know who this is. Fate's Legacy is now upgrade your bronze tier and silver tier items. So I'm actually going to go to my guide real quick. I don't remember all this stuff exactly. I'm sorry, guys. I should have done this before the stream. Fate? Why am I not pulling out Fate's Legacy? I know I have that in here. It's not the resurrection event. Dacia. Okay, I'm not sure who this is. This will be interesting. Upgrade your bronze tier and silver tier items to gold tier. That's super cool. So I wonder if this is the pedestal lady that you could occasionally get, that just let you get a free upgrade of an item, and now just upgrades all your bronze and silver, but does not let you get a free gold. That's my guess. I don't know. I apologize that I don't know. Form can now spawn naturally outside of the mysterious portal in Aerodome. Fan-fucking-tastic. We could just see Form in the wild. And Form is the weapon buff guy. Add an enchant to your weapon item. Add damage to your weapon item, that guy. And now there's a new version of that. I'll talk about that in a second. There's a new vendor who sells apparel for any hero, just like the toy vendor. Kind of cool, kind of cool. Someone who improves your ammo items. Probably won't be a vendor we're able to see. Now there's improved shield, improved heal and regen, improved burn, improved poison. I can only imagine these people are going to work like Form, who will give you a couple of options on how you can upgrade one of those things. So that sounds really, really fun. That's fantastic. We got a bunch of new people in the game. Hopefully new voice lines that I get to record and add to my tags and stuff. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. That's cool. All right. Monster updates. I am not going to be able to tell you what all of these mean just yet. We're going to have to play through a lot of these to know. Viper has been changed to silver tier, and the gold reward is increased to 3. Interesting that silver tier did not increase its XP reward. So it's a day 1 monster. It's the only silver, which means I think he will always be available. Maybe, maybe not, but he should likely always be available. That would be the bigger change that happened here. And then he gives 3 gold instead of 2 gold, still gives 1 XP. And that makes sense since he's the only guy who can usually kill you most of the time. So cool. Rogue Scrapper has been demoted to silver tier. I'm just not going to keep going over when they get moved down or moved up. Just the gold moves down to be equivalent to the tier, and the XP moves down, or vice versa, it goes up. Okay, so that's just going to happen every single time we do this. And then they're going to change the hit points to accommodate. So he's now down to 350 hit points. He has the same number of hit points as you. So you do not have to get so far ahead so that you could beat him in the monster fight. You probably don't need in combat scaling to beat him anymore. You just need to do more damage to him than he is doing to you, taking into account the tiny bit of early shield and heal that he does in that fight. And also taking into account that that heal is cleansing your burn and poison. We're going to have to hold that thought in our heads quite a bit for monster fights, I have a feeling. I have a feeling that that's going to make some builds very weak to monsters that we just aren't used to being weak to monsters on. Day 3 Rogue Scrapper, similar changes. Reduced down to bronze, so it's silver day 2, bronze day 3. Warrior's the new gold. Warrior's the new Rogue Scrapper. And he had more hit points to accommodate it. So Warrior was always a little bit more damage, but you could get through his hit point pool, so he was slightly easier than Scrapper, because Scrapper could kind of scale out of your range. But Warrior at 400 is going to be hard because he is racing you. So this is he's going to be a hard fight. That's going to be fun. Street Gamer has been renamed to Degenerate, and his piggles are now gold tier. Cool. Retiree Bushel is reduced to bronze tier. It's no longer silver tier. That's very good because Bushel's going to be going to be very hard to get through. You're going to find retiree tough. We'll talk about those changes when we get to Pyg. Flame Juggler. Jesus Christ, by the way, Flame Juggler. Diamond tier, he better be. He better be. His health increased to 1,200 from 900, so you no longer get to just stabilize to win this fight. You used to be able to just, like, have a bushel, have a shielded robe, get them to trigger a couple times, you stabilize, and then you just get to, like, pepper him down and kill him. He now has double, if not more, your hit points at the time you were fighting him. So you gotta not only stabilize, you gotta get through most of that shit so that the storm kills you both. So you now need to be a double-sided. You can't just hard carry this fight. And then they increased lighter to gold tier, which means he will be doing more burn. And they increased the burst of flame to silver tier. It probably went from 10 to 15 fire damage. So Flame Juggler is absolutely terrifying. Like, absolutely terrifying. On day 4, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of beating us into the ground. Prince Marianus changed to gold tier. Gold rewards reduced. Yep, health reduced. So he used to be 1,200, so that's a pretty significant reduction. And then Elusive Ray is brought down, so the number of items being slowed all at once, which also means the number of triggers adding damage to his weapons, which also means, yeah, all of that package. The scaling and everything went down. He's going to be much more manageable at gold tier. Gorgon Noble, Black Rose increased to gold tier. Blades increased to gold. Nightshade increased to gold, which is a big one. Nightshade's going to do a lot of freaking poison damage at gold. She was so much of a pushover for a diamond monster. So raising all of these up is probably going to matter a decent amount. So expect her poison damage to be slightly terrifying. Expect to want to have some heal going into this fight. Trash Down Mayor, Dog's damage has been increased to $150. It used to be like 80 or 90. Temp Shelter went to 200. Used to be about 120, 150. Don't quote me on any of that, but it has all gone up. Feels about somewhere in the 30 to 50% range, which is good because he was a pushover. I do not think he is not still a pushover. I will be very surprised if I suddenly find this fight hard. This was the free win fight. It now is like, you can't be in between two board states without a win condition. You have to kind of pretend to know how you're going to win the fight and that's about it. I don't think this is going to be too much harder. Mark my words when I get steamrolled by him. Bulldozer increased to gold tier. Holy shit. So they're doing a really cool thing here. All the gold monsters are becoming hard. The diamond monsters are becoming epic. The legendary monsters are becoming terrifying. Right? The diamond and legendaries are just nuts. So they're kind of fixing and balancing out those things so you can feel the right kind of way about them. Gold is not going to be an auto click all the time. It's not going to be just more XP. I'll take this one. You're going to have to think if you could take these fights, because Bulldozer's scaling increase means that he is like a one-shot monster inside of probably somewhere around 12 to 14 seconds. I got to look at the card. So this gets out of control real fast. Ghost Pepper changed to diamond tier. Should have already been, if you ask me. Health increased, because that's what I need. I need to make it harder to kill that guy. And then they lowered, I love it. All they had to do is increase his health and then still had to reduce his damage for it not to be obscene. Damn right. Screw you, Ghost Pepper. Went from silver to diamond and they lowered his damage. Treasure Turtle changed to silver tier. Gold reward reduced, etc. Health reduced. Cool. Nothing else really changed. Radiant Corsair is a big change. Spyglass is replaced with dock lines, with a gold tiered dock lines. He's actually going to do a lot of slow. Lighthouse increased to diamond tier. Radiant Corsair now burns you to the ground. Radiant Corsair is now absolutely terrifying. He's got right-handed, he's got final flames, he's got a little bit more burn, he's got a little bit more flat damage added to that anchor that's going to crit on your head. Radiant Corsair is already was like, all right, all I need is in combat scaling, but he can't kill me. I just need in combat scaling, and I die somewhere around when the storm hits. And now it's like, no, he will kill you. He will kill you in something like 14 seconds, and you still got to kill him twice. So, fuck. Like, if somebody has his gold skill, they goddamn earned it now. So good for them. Oasis Guardian, day 8, change to gold tier. Rewards increased, health increase, cool. Vortex got lightning rod and Tesla coil to diamond. So the scaling on those things, if you just did pacifist on him, you eventually felt it. Like he just tickles you for a long time, and then eventually he starts like slamming you. That's gonna change. He's gonna hurt. You're gonna have to earn this fight. This fight is no longer free. I'm not sure if it's wildly impossible or if it's just hard. I kind of don't know those two items together at diamond, to be honest with you. So we're gonna have to feel that. Bouncetron changed to silver, health reduced. Okay. Burninator bot, weak point detector increased to diamond, thermal lance increased to diamond. Oh my god, the scaling on this was also a pushover fight. It is now not a pushover fight. It scales pretty hard. If you could kill them fast, you don't care, but if you don't, you will very, very much care. And then they increased the claws and the draconic rage skill on dragon to diamond. So dragon was terrifying. He was 14 seconds and you did. Then they fixed the thing where something, I'm forgetting exactly what it was triggering all of the items, and it should have only been triggering one of the items, dumping fire onto both claws instead of just one claw, etc., etc. And then he felt a bit like a puppy. And so they have probably toned him back up to equal his tier. So expect him to be terrifying. Just expect everyone to be terrifying. You don't know shit. Like, you don't know these monster fights anymore. You're going to have to lose them quite a few times to learn them. If you care very much about your rank, probably, or your tickets, probably start in unranked for a little while, just by virtue of how many of these fights you're going to lose. Oasis Guardian changed to silver. Gold rewards now increased to 3. Health increased. Cool. Yrden, this is fun. I'm very happy for this one. Changed to Brawn, weakest monster in the game by miles. He was obscenely weak. So him being Brawn just is correct. They reduced his health. Why? But then they increased the Piggles to diamond tier, which, okay, cool. Cargo shorts are now obsidian. 1, that's a fun drop. That's just a fun drop. That's just a good time. It's Mandala reroll. It's all kind of fun. 2, he actually can hurt you. Is it a 7-second cast time? Sure. Does all of the shenanigans he's doing on his board not affect that? Yep. But he can do damage, so not worried about it, but I am interested in the cargo short drop, so that's fun. Roaming out changed to silver, reduced his health. Ferris Khan changed to gold, should have been anyway. He was already a monster. And then they increased his health, not a ton, but enough that he's a race, and he's like a 7-second race, and now he got harder to kill fast. So cool. Enclave Revenant, exposing toxins increased to diamond tier, so all of his damage is going to do more. Volcus got toned down. They calmed Volcus quite a bit. They just lowered the tier of everything by 1. Mainly his ice pick is really important. So Volcus might be not absolutely nuts. He's still going to be hard, but I think that's a good change. Cross Street Champion is now diamond. Probably should have been. He's also pretty hard. Health increased. Sapphire reduced to silver tier. Interesting. So he doesn't freeze for as long as he did before, which is good because you got to get through a lot of health, and your stuff pauses every single time you swing. Void Golem changed to legendary tier. Thank you. Hardest monster in the game with mostly skills nobody wants is now at least a legend, as he should be. And they gave him more hit points to make it harder. Lord of the Waste changed to silver. Should be. He's an absolute pushover. Reduced his health. Didn't need to do that. We had no trouble killing him. Void Colossus changed to diamond. So he's no longer the legendary. The Void Golem's the legendary. Void Golem has ascended. Colossus has descended. Health reduced to compensate. Octopus has strength. All of those weapons are now, I don't know what this is at. I'm assuming this is going to be probably at gold. All of those weapons are now getting 20 damage times however many times he hits you in the face, which is, I don't know. I should be able to do the math on that. It's 8 plus the 8 out of the octopus itself, so it's 16. Um, 16 weapons all getting 20 more flat. So that's not nothing. And then arms race. I think arms race is the crit skill. So more crit, more chance for variability to really screw up your life. So yeah, oof. Octopus is gonna actually be able to kill you. He's still not a lot of damage. It's still not rough, but since he takes forever to kill, if you go in there without like a high amount of damage, I think he is gonna get through you eventually now. Cool. Arkin's board has been rearranged so that it doesn't suck. One thruster is replaced with a 2 ammo vitality potion. Interesting. That's okay. Yeah, Arkin was also a pushover, so Arkin's also gonna get like huge heals in the middle of the fight. And remember, those heals cleanse. The other thruster increased to diamond tier, so he's still getting the same amount of cooldown reduction he was getting before. Heavy weaponry replaced with strength. Okay. And then flurry of blows added at diamond tier. Oh shit. Oh shit. He doesn't do any damage, but he's gonna do lots of it now. He's gonna spam, like he's gonna fit his model a little bit better. He's gonna be I'm gonna have to fight him to know. I'm a little scared. Property Baron, they moved up to diamond and gave him more health. So this is just this was already an impossible fight. This is a very hard fight. He moved from silver to diamond, as he probably should. But now you got to get through all 3,000 health while he's shielding, while he's healing, while he can one-shot you with his double crit. I have not seen any announcement that they fixed the damn key, which seems to still be charging all of the properties instead of just one property, because literally every single time he both heals and swings his weapon again. So his weapon swings twice. 2 seconds later, his weapon swings twice. He has a 50% chance to crit you on every single one of those swings. You just be dead until you get like until you start fighting him on like day 13 when you have enough hit points to survive the volley. And now you got to get through all that. So cool. He should be hard. He has such good chase items. He should be a thing that you can't choose yet a lot of the time. We go to the Dooley of it all. I might skip over Pyg and do him last because, you know, I'm sorry. I'm gonna make y'all wait. But that's where I'm the most excited and I want to dig in the most. So fix an issue where crypto's value could be outside the range in the tooltip. Yeah, because it's like 0 to 10, sell for 13. Duct tape's a Dooley item again. They nerfed it. The nerf made it not broken, and so giving it back to him feels totally fair. Forklift total redesign. This seems interesting. This could also make the monster who has forklift a little bit terrifying. This should be interesting. When you use an adjacent item, any adjacent item, doesn't need to be medium or large anymore, you charge it. So you can charge the shit. This will be pretty fun for us to use with yo-yo and stuff. If you have another tool, apparel, tech, weapon, and friend, this has lots of damage for each. So it gets a bunch of damage for each one of those items that you have. And, right? But it has the word and. So what I'm assuming is it gets no flat damage until you have all 5. And then when you get all 5, it gets 500 flat added to it. And then it gets charged whenever you use an adjacent item. If your brain has not put together what you're doing with this yet, you are forklifting Bob. You got Bob, you got cargo shorts, you got forklift, and then you got 2 flex spots. And Bob goes jump, 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 jump. And he causes this thing to then swing probably 2, maybe 3 times, depending on how many charges you got on Bob. And this thing has an extra 500 something damage flat onto it. You get an extra 1,000 swing out of this, right? Like, and then shenanigans you may make. So this might be interesting next to something like that. Or you could just cargo shorts this and spam yo-yos, right? We can really use this item. It's built, feels tailor-made for Pyg, even though it's Dooley item, but like we can get this from the monster fight. This might be a fun thing to hunt for and play with. Hologram projector. I am terrified. At the start of each fight, transfer this into a gold or diamond copy of another small item you have for the fight. Why do I feel like this will only be used on boards that have fiber optics? It does have the restriction that you then can't run other smalls as your trigger for your fiber optics over on your leftmost or whatever. But people are going to get around that. Double fiber optics is cracked. That's going to have some shenanigan play. Interesting. Totally interesting. Lens, charge the tech item to the right. When this gains haste, charge 1 second. Cool. I got no notes. Lightning bolt no longer does the crit thing, or maybe it also does the crit thing. I'm a little confused. Cooldown is reduced as you upgrade it, so this can get to a 3-seconder for Dooley, which is pretty fire. And then it charges the item to the right of this. Charges the item to the right of this. On top of, I think, giving it crit chance on top of being able to get down to 3 seconds. So this is fire. And then you also just get a small tech item when you buy it. So Dooley is now see a light bulb, buy a light bulb, I think. Again, I don't know Dooley, so I might be missing things, but that sounds really strong to me. Power Sander, haste the item to the right, slow the item to the left. Interesting. We could get this off one of the monster fights. So off the... Actually, there's 2 different monster fights we could get off of, I think. All right, they reverted Robotics Factory all the way back to the beginning. It's now diamond only, and it gives multicast 1, and it doesn't have the slow requirement or anything. They did the same thing to Shipwreck. They're just like, we take it back. We take it all back. Virus is super interesting, and I wonder how a Hexa feels in this play. Poison yourself for each virus on your board. Transfer another non-legendary small item on each player's board into virus for the rest of the fight. The idea is she doesn't destroy your small items anymore. She turns them into items that poison you. And then when they go off, they turn your other items into things that poison you. So inside of 2 casts of this, essentially, your entire board, if it was all smalls, are now all viruses. And every time they cast, you poison yourself. Very, very cool item. Very cool. It's still 9 seconds. I don't think anyone's running this thing, because that's a lot of time to do shenanigans, but that is pretty shenanigan-y. It might sit around as the fun flex item on my board if I have no other smalls. I might, like, if I hold this, I might just have this to throw in to just, like, dick with somebody if I have no other smalls. Because it's kind of fun. Pygmalion who? Mak Items. Apothecary only spawns reagents. No longer spawns either reagents or catalysts. It's good to give it, like, fixed, I think, rather than the... Otherwise, you kind of feel screwed by the RNG of it all. Boiling Flask, reload adjacent potions. Adjacent potions have 1 multicast. I actually didn't see what changed on this one. I looked most of these up right before, but I didn't check this one apparently. Boiling Flask, the cast time is now 10, then 9. It was 8 seconds. So they've lowered the reload function on this. It always was more of a multicast thing, but I think it was pushing a little hard with an 8-second reload. Calcinator, when you transform a reagent, so they have buffed back up Calcinator and Retort, in case you forgot the name, as everybody does, of the poison version of Calcinator. I never remember that thing. So they buffed both of those scaling. It was like 2 to 8 or something, and it's now 3 to 9. So that went back up, and then Philosopher's Stone, they took down its scaling. So Philosopher's Stone lost another point or 2. Because it's still cracked. They're still working on Philosopher's Stone. It's going to be cracked forever. Chum! Fix an issue where this couldn't give itself crit when it had a crit enchant. Cool. Scope looks really, really interesting. New Vanessa item. They gave her 2 new items for 2 items that they took away last patch. I forget what those were. But they're refilling her kit so that she's back up to the whatever the number is after getting the last 2 expansions. The weapon to the right of this has 10, 15, 20, or 15, 20, 25% crit chance. And if you have only one weapon, when you crit with it, charge a non-weapon item 1.52. So this is just a fun single weapon Vanessa thing, right? That they can do shenanigans with. Just another thing for the single weapon package. The crit chance is okay. They usually have lots and lots of ways to get the crit chance, but the charge shenanigan can be kind of interesting. So elemental depth charge, charge to freeze 1 medium or small item for 0.5 seconds. So they lowered the freeze down to 0.5 instead of 1. Iceberg, the deadly version, was doing 100% negative crit chance to the enemy. Now it's only doing 50, which is fair. Mana Shrimp buffed the fire damage. They kept the flat, but they buffed the fire scaling on it. I already found this item kind of scary when people pulled it off, but they didn't do it very often, so it's fair. Many people will rejoice. You'll probably see a Reddit post or 3 about this. People have been arguing. This has been the age-old debate. Is Piranha enemy or friend? It is now official. It is friend. Shark Claws changed to your other weapons gain. They did not change the damage scaling. They just made it not affect itself. That was not this item's problem. I do not think we have solved much with this. That is pretty low on the realm of nerfage of just a you get this, you win day 1, day 2 item. It does weaken day 1 quite a bit because it could have just been its own vehicle, and now you at least have to have other vehicles to carry it, right? And Shark Claws was a little bit fast, so it's scaling itself. So this is an okay impact to day 1. I don't think it does much after that to bring down its power, which is interesting because it might just be that's exactly what they wanted. Shipwreck is aquatic now. Kidding, it was always aquatic. Move back up to diamond tier instead of gold tier. As the other one did, and then they reverted the penalty that they had on it. This just again went back to like 3 patches ago. New items, super cool. Tortuga, expect to get your face eaten off by this giant tortoise. The cooldown reduces from 12 to 10 as it scales up. The damage increases by 300 per level. Haste your other items for 1 second when you use a friend. Charge this 2 seconds. Holy shit. So, you throw this in a friend package where they already appreciated haste. All of them appreciated haste. You just think about your, your pufferfish or your catfish builds or whatever. How you were already trying to spam a crap ton of haste on those things in the first place. So this guy is providing the haste every time he goes off, and those guys, by how fast you get them, is providing this guy the swingage. And so now you just added the giant damage payoff package to that build without sacrificing a haste trigger, because he becomes the new haste trigger that for some of the slots that he took up. So I'm terrified. I have a feeling you could also do single weapon shenanigans of it all on this, because lots of the friends don't have weapons. So you can also use other things to buff the damage to add the crit, like the new scope and whatnot. Just terrified. Just terrified. The possibilities are all bad for me. But cool. Like, cool. It's going to be fun. I think Vanessa players will rejoice. I think this is going to get hot fixed. We'll see. Other items. Broken Shackles. This is just a random thing you occasionally got from one of the monster fights, and you're like, what do I do with this? And you throw it in the trash. They increase the weapon scaling, and then it charges 2 seconds when you use a weapon instead of 1 second, but it's up to 8 seconds instead of 7. Cosmic Plumage. This is the thing you get off the weird monster, the big giant blue and yellow feather thingy, and you throw it immediately in the trash because it sucks really hard. They really buffed the scaling on both the weapons and shield when this thing goes off, and then they increase the when you crit, instead of charge 1 second, when you crit, charge 3. This might be a pretty strong thing to throw into like a single weapon Vanessa package. This is going to be strong for Vanessa, who can make use of the crit charge mechanic better than anyone else. It's also probably going to be strong on the Mak crit package. I can speak. Skills. New diamond tier. Your potions have their cooldowns reduced by 1 second. Fire. That sounds amazing. Coolant link. There's a couple of these. There were ways in which if you had this is the only item of this type is your rightmost whatever, you could break some of these skills so that they would infinitely cast instead of, like they say, they only work for 10 charges and they were just working infinitely. So all that was Coolant Link, that was Lefty Loosey, and that was Ratty Tidy. All were able to violate the limit cap in certain board states. They fixed that. Herbal supplements. Your regen items have more regen. Womp womp. I mean, regen's good, but like flat regen addition is crap, is garbage. So our skill pool, I'm pretty sure, just got weaker because it wasn't bad already. Pop-up shop. Your toys and apparel have their cooldowns reduced by 5 to 10%. That's a very, very small amount of CDR for just a couple of items. I am not currently, there's some new toys in the new package. I'm not currently aware of like doing a toy archetype that is so dominant that you would ever do this, but you know, it's like your yo-yos get 10% cooldown. Like, I don't care. They're charging. I don't know. I'm confused. I may be missing something. Ready Teddy, fix an issue. Yeah, that's the one we talked about. The Vital Reserve, these are both new. It's right and leftmost regen item, has more regen. This at bronze is a day one, maybe you grab because 2 regen a cast is actually significant day one, and then you kind of regret having it later because 8 regen a cast is not significant by day like 5. Working hard, fix an issue where this was not upgraded when moved up to the diamond tier. So that is pretty cool. That is get more, get some amount of flat damage on your weapons for every tool you have. That's all of those. Let's open the big thing that we're pretty sure looks like the gaming console, the big present. Pig, here we go. You're not gonna be happy. There's some nerfs. There's some buffs. There's some nerfs. I agree with all of the nerfs. They had to happen. They had to happen. Change. When you buy a property, get a busy bee, and your bees gain 10, 15, 20 damage. So it is the same. It has gone down 5. It has gone down 10. Used to be 10, 20, 30. It is now 10, 15, 20 damage. So you will have to buy and sell a lot more properties to get up to the same level of damage you did before. At gold, which is where we do most of our scaling, because we tend to hopefully cash out by diamond or not have a lot left in diamond. That is a 20%, 25%. Math is hard. It is a 25% reduction in power for every property. You now have to buy and sell 25% more properties to get to where you were before. Okay. So that's a lot. We're still going to figure out how to make this build work. It's still going to work. It's just not going to be an auto, you solve B, you play B. Like this, you have to, I think, now have solved your econ before you can make this play, not after. Bushel got changed. This is one of those, they changed the way heal works. Bushel is not doing it. Now change to gain 3, 6, 12, 24 regen for the fight. 4-second gain 3 regen day 1 is pretty oppressive. That's great. That's a good item. We're gonna get some hay out of that. I'm pretty excited. Not that Bushel wasn't always fairly strong day 1, but now, yeah, I like it. I don't know how much we're gonna run it late, but there's several regen changes, and I don't know how they all work yet. These are very much, we're going to have to figure them out. Cold Room got nerfed to 12 seconds. Not a big deal. I think that's fair. I think Cold Room was a little oppressive. That was it. The restorative enchantment. So if you get the heal enchantment, it's now heal equal to 10 times this item's regen. I'm not really sure what it was before, to be honest with you. It was double regen. Okay, so now the restorative heals equal to 10 times the regen, which is great because if you get the heal enchantment down, this Cold Room now gives you cleanse, which would be pretty good. So great. Heal enchants are going to just be great. Deadly Fort had the same thing that happened to Iceberg. They were both reducing the enemy's crit by 100%. Now they're both reducing it by 50, just making that a little bit more in line. Nobody really thought of or used this very often, but the few people that knew about it knew it was like game-breakingly strong, so they fixed it. Golf clubs, we're going to get this a lot. They're just changing these things to work off both heal and regen because we have a lot more regen mechanics now. This is cool because golf clubs can work with Cold Room. Golf clubs can work with a lot of things it wasn't working with before. So that's good. They did not change the scaling. The damage scaling is the same. They just gave it more sources of affecting that scaling. Same thing for Hogwash. Although they did change the scaling on Hogwash. It went up to 5, 10, 15 from 4, 8, 12. So it is healing quite a bit more. And then the same health gain, 50, this is the same that it was before, but it also procs off of regen stuff now. So more things we can use for that. You could use things like sauna with hogwash and then a bunch of fire triggers. Those fire triggers, when you burn, are going to proc your sauna, which is going to give you regen and heal. Both of those procs are going to give hogwash value, right? So there's a little bit more play we can do with this. And then the fact that heal is cleansing means that heal is just generally significantly stronger than it ever was before. Kukri, again, just did not change the scaling. They just added regeneration as a trigger. Luxury Tents, they just added regen as a trigger. So Luxury Tents is going to give you your cold room multicast and other things like that. Super interesting. Ledger changed to when you sell 10 items, adjacent items get 3, 5, 7. So it went from 5, 10, 15 to 4, 8, 12, now to 3, 5, 7. I am so happy, you guys, because this might suck enough that I can justify not running Ledger. I hate this item. Not just because of the stash constraint. I mean, for a while, I thought it was a really cool design because it had just a baked-in opportunity cost that was an interesting opportunity cost. But after a while, you realize you actually are playing like... hold on, sorry. Sorry, y'all. I'm very, very sorry. I'm doing this in one take and I'm just uploading it. Otherwise, I got to wait 2 hours for it to export after I go through the editor. So that's just in the video. I'm sorry, but that's how we get this out to you quickly. Yeah, originally I thought it was a fun design until I started realizing that I was losing like 20% of the amount of games I could be completing because Ledger slowed you down so much. And then the fiddliness was just frustrating. The number of misplays you make just because of stash constraints, like you now have a buy sell sequence based on size so that you can fit. It's just, I hate this item. This item is so fiddling and frustrating to play with that I'm almost happy they nerfed it just so I can justify not freaking using it. At 5, at gold, not worth it. Not doing it. I will probably not play Ledger unless I have no other econ play. Not to say that it's not still good at these values, and if you're willing to do the fiddly, you shouldn't do it. You probably should, but it is to say that I can now tell myself that it's not good enough to use. Lemonade Stand is super interesting. This is the only one of our regen items that I'm like, gain regen equal to 5% of your max health for the fight. Hello. Okay. I've been wanting for a very, very long time for a pacifist pig archetype, but it's never quite really worked out, right? Now, you have your pawn shop, you have your, there's a couple of ways you could run it. You could run pawn shop belt. You could run, here are the pieces. There's pawn shop, there's belt, there is balcony. There is now lemonade stand, and then there's closed room or close sign. And close sign will give you regen based on the value on your property, right? So close sign plus that plus close sign plus pawn shop plus balcony was you double the value on pawn shop and then turn that into regen. And then you used to run that with a belt. Though the regen wasn't operating off of the belt, right? It wasn't giving you more value off of the belt. So now you could run a lemonade stand in that place. And then there's a flex on whether you want the belt for just more total health, and then you get more regen out of your lemonade stand, or you run the balcony to get more regen out of your close sign. So both of those items become really flexible. All three of those items become kind of flexible and interchangeable. So now you can find multiple pieces to run. I'm highlighting the wrong thing. To run the pacifist board. So I'm going to try this. This is one of the first silly things I'm going to put together because I won't have access to the new stuff for a little while. So this one's going to happen. We're going to see how this works. And so that being a thing that you can scale up to very, very large numbers, because, you know, you get us up to our 100,000 hit point pig, which we've seen in the past several times. And now you wait 6 seconds, and you get 5% of that 100,000, right? You're getting thousands of regen added, stacked progressively. You're already out of one-shot range, right? Now they got to get through that. Like, that sounds fun, y'all. I think that the pacifist pig is now a whole archetype. We shall have to see, but this may be oppressive as hell. Only when you're stacking hit points, but still, this may be oppressive as hell. This will also be fun as hell. Okay. Yes, they lowered the value scaling. They all went down a tier, I think, is what it looks like. No, they went down more than that. Hold on. EOS was 36912. So it's now 3579. Wow. So 2 value lost at gold and 3 value lost at diamond. Had to happen. It was too much. And then this is the stab to the gut. Increase the cooldown to 8 seconds. Woof. Brutal. Still good to like hold around as a value recouper sometimes. Works as that. I think you can still make this work. I think this is still strong in the early to mid game ish. I think this falls off even harder in the late game, and no one's going to argue with me anymore that this doesn't go long in the way that people kept saying it went long, but by long they meant day 12 and not day 15. Money tree. Heal equal to double this item's value. Double. What were we before? Money tree was heal equal to this item's value. So now it's a 2x. Cool. A lot more heal. When you level up and at the start of each day, get a spare change. So now it's we get one at the start of each day on top of the level up. So you get more, you definitely get a lot more frequency of the free money. So it's a little bit more of a value play there. It's a lot more of a value play here because instead of getting 1, 2, or 2, 3, 4, 5, it's 2, 4, 6, 8. So it goes up 1 at silver, 2, and then 3. So that is, you get a lot more gold out of this. So it's a much better value play. And then it got lowered to 3 seconds. And remember, this cleanses. So 3 second, 10% cleanse can be very oppressive to poison and shield builds. This is pretty fast. And then we're going to actually be able to scale this up to meaningful values eventually. So this is a decent actual defensive item that does its job, that will actually help you not die. And the way that healed currently does not help you not die. So I find this super interesting. I'm going to play with it. I think you might be willing to, like, I don't know. We're going to see how much control and mid-range exists in the current meta with these changes. They didn't exist before, but it has maybe some design space with these changes, especially with the cleanse change. Piggles. Oh, so sad. Fixed a bug where defeating an opponent with piggles would give you a piggle. It is finally dead, boys. No more pity piggles. Now upgrades a random piggle at the start of each day. So their modifier was dangling. I know what they mean to say. What they mean to say is an additional property of piggles, forget about the sentence we just talked about, is that one of your piggles gets upgraded at the start of each day, which is super cool, because if you clear out your other crap piggles, you could upgrade the good piggle that you want, and you could get that thing to diamond in just a couple of days. Super cool mechanic. You could have a bronze piggle get you much, much more valuable piggles out of it over time. I love that. That's great. The way this reads in sequence is that instead of the bug giving you a piggle, now when you play against Pig, he upgrades your piggles. Where the opponent piggles would give you a piggle, now they upgrade a random piggle at the start of each day. Your modifier's dangling, Tempo. Okay, that's fine. Pig's Gym. Change to when you buy a weapon, this gains 3, 6, 9. That is a massive change in scaling. They did not change the health scaling. 1, 2, what was that? 2, 3, 4? Gem. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 to 3, 6, 9, you guys. They tripled how much this gets. This is now an econ play in its own right that gives you hit points. Just holding on to Pig's Gym as an econ play, even if you don't want to run it because it takes 6 seconds to cast, this is still just good. It's just generically good. It will pay itself back fivefold over. If you have reasons to buy weapons, and the expansion will give us a lot of reasons to buy weapons, you're just gonna want to have Gem in your stash. This is a great item. Visual effects fixed on stopwatch. Cool. I don't know what's wrong with it. Key set now permanently gain 10-20 max health. That has not changed. Gain 10 or 20 regeneration for the fight. A 7-second gold item that gives you 10 regen. Okay, Vineyard. I don't understand, man. I don't understand. Vineyard, you have added regen equal to this item's value. That's fucking cool. That's cool. So Vineyard not only adds, it still adds the heal to its value to your other heal items, but now it adds regen to you equal to its value. So if you have a reason to get these things up into the hundreds, you have like flat whatever regen. That's cool. But in the mid game, grabbing this might be useful, or in the early game, I don't know. Maybe not. It's just cool. We'll figure out what to do with it later. Might not be any good, but it's like, it does need a buff, so that's an interesting way to go about it. And then when you sell 10 items, it has the same scaling it had before. Actually, yeah, it has the ledger scaling it had before, internal ledger, but it did not get the nerf that the other thing got, which is cool because you never really use this because an internal ledger isn't that strong because it's only one item instead of two. But now this kind of functions pretty close to being as much money as a ledger. And then you get a free truffle. Okay, every time you sell 10 items, you get a free truffle. Cool. Unwatched Bird changed to heal 20, 30, 40, 50. They lowered its top end, so it doesn't scale up into the 80s now. It had like a non-linear scaling that was a little weird. So it doesn't get super broken, which is probably important because remember, Unwashed Bird with properties on the board is a lot like a multicast cleanse poison at 5 seconds. And burn. So that's nuts. And it gains regen for the fight. This is actually a day 1, day 2 monster of an item. They increase the 20. I don't know what happened right now.
Escape has joined the Goose Mafia.
I'm streaming. I didn't realize I was streaming. Oh my god, guys. I thought I was recording this, not streaming this. I'm so tired. So welcome, buddy. And I have not been seeing people responding this whole time. So we had a really long stream right before this, so I am very, very tired. So now, thank you so much for following. That actually let me realize that I was going to stream. And now I know where I have to go to get that video, to edit it, to throw it up on our YouTube channel. But now I know I have a crap ton of chat comments to read. So if you think I've been ignoring your chat, you guys, it's because I've been ignoring your chat, you guys. Yeah, that's so funny. We're right at the end too. We just finished the last one. That's beautiful. Chef's kiss on the timing. Thank you so much for following. Thank you guys for being here. Sorry I didn't cover the chat. So I'm going to cut the video as it is. I'm going to throw it up on the YouTube channel. Now I'm going to go into the chat to see if y'all have interesting things to say, and like respond to it. So sorry about that. Did you already watch the Pyg Items? No. I'm way behind on these, so some of these are going to be a little old, but throw any more questions you have. I'm going to get to them very quick. Are the patch notes out? Yes, they are. I think the crit chance is probably gone off the light bulb. They didn't say so. They didn't say so. I think it should be, Walter, but I don't think it is. It used to increase the cooldown by 2 seconds. It's a huge buff. It's a crazy buff. Yeah, you guys are responding to things I was saying, so I'm not going to be able to peg where they are. So I'm going to just kind of respond. Tortuga seems a bit strong considering she has holsters. Yeah, and she has lots of haste, fast, you know, that's going to be a little nuts. That's going to be nuts. Hey, Gat, welcome. I'm saving pig for last. Oh no, my bees. No, yes, your bees. They needed it. And Bushel is not dead. Bushel is weird. We're not sure about Bushel. Regen's going to be a different beast for us, and we got to kind of figure out what it is. I'm not sure, but early regen day 1, day 2 is pretty strong, so that's helpful. I think we're going to get something out of it. I don't think golf club's crazy good. It didn't really increase its scaling, but it like pairs with Cold Room, And so cold room can go fast. Remember, cold room at Golden Diamond increases the number of freezes, but not the number of casts. So we still don't have like a very spammy regen item yet. So I'm not entirely sure that like does much to cold room or kukri. Yeah, I don't think Ledger makes the cut either. Thank fuck. What time do the servers go up? I have no idea. Probably they're up by now. Kiosk is gone, to be honest. Maybe that'd be nice. Like, I'd like kiosk to be a hipster thing. That'd be cool. We've all had enough time with kiosks. I think that it can die for a patch or two. I think they can over nerf it and bring it back later, and we'll all just feel good about it. Money Tree is very interesting. It's very interesting. It can get to very real levels. It is at 3 seconds a very, very good vehicle for an enchant. Only 2x the value versus like the 4x you're getting off a fixer. But it's very fast. So could be like the haste and slow on that will be monstrous. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. You can use littles to get random diamond, which also looks very good. Yeah. Gym was already playable. Was it though? It's 6 seconds. It took till like the day 6 mid game to get off the ground, and then it can't run past like day 11 or 12 because everything kills you in time. So I'm not sure. But now yeah, we're gonna try it. We're gonna play with it. Recently had a 10 win with Jim. Nice. Okay. Some people are making it work. Yeah, I don't know about Vineyard. It might just be broken. Bird was nuts. Walter, I did not see the Reddit clip. I have been doing just this. Rollbacks in their true form are due to speed at which CPU memory your client cleans the connection too fast. Just holds the session until it hits the AFK timeout. This is why they aren't real rollbacks. It will always write the save time after 30 minutes. This is why people transport back to old runs even after continuing a rollback. We think we gotten all the sources of incorrect timing on connection cleaned up. So any disconnect should appear as small blips of 500 milliseconds, and you continue as you were. My dude, that's the biggest change. That's the change I miss. That is the biggest change by a mile. Pupper's laughing at the fact that I just realized I was streaming. I'm a professional, you guys. I'm a professional. What do you want from me? I am going to throw these patch notes. I think you all probably have figured out by now where to find the patch notes. I can just like copy paste them in the chat now that I know that you exist. So sorry about that, guys. We stronger or weaker? We thoughtful. I would say your likelihood to force a 10 win run has gone down because your two of your best options for forcing went down. You are going to get a lot more forcing tools once you get to the 30 package. A lot more tools to force once you get to the 30 package. That's interesting. Our relative power in terms of climbing the ladder has gone up significantly because I think that our ability to get 10 wins has been, our ability to get in the high win range has been better than most people, in my opinion. It takes a lot of good play to do it. It's not easy. It's definitely more skill expression on Pyg than a lot of the other heroes. But I have been getting like 10 winners about 80% of the time in the last couple of weeks. That might change in the patch, I have no idea. But it has been feeling, and I've been doing silly shit a lot more and have just been being pretty successful lately. And so now that the ladder is going to have just basically punish losing a lot more, I think pigs are going to be better at climbing ladder and probably better at ranked. So that's a big win for us if you care about that. If you define our ability, how good we are by how successful you are at ladder climbing. I think that's just a flat increase for us. Otherwise, they've lowered our chance to hard force, and then everything else is a buff. Everything else other than being able to play those two lines, Beehive and what's it called? Kiosk is a buff, which is just a hard buff to me because I just did not want to play those anymore. I played hated, yeah, it's a buff. I'm happy. I'm so happy. New fast regen for the golf club is the bird. Bird's not regen, birds still heal. Birds still heal. So and regen. Whoa. Those are two separate activations. Oh my god, golf clubs in a property is cracked. Sameton, my god. That's cracked. Oh yeah, that's a combo. Yes. Yeah, Vineyard is looking interesting. We're gonna play with that. I have no idea. Yeah, if they actually fix the disconnects, that's completely huge. Uh, which hero are you gonna play firstly? Definitely not asking me. He's asking Walter. Um, that's what I'm doing. New Mak cards first. Bottle Explosion Gaming. You degenerate. Uh, we also got destroying, making the property baron diamond though. I don't know, man. I don't know how many of my runs I needed property baron skills. I genuinely, I think that I lost more to property baron than I got something good from property baron. I'll be completely honest. I will also say that my particular weakness as a player is gauging the monster fights. I think that compared to the average pig player, there's a lot of things that I pat myself on the back on, think I'm decent and strong on, and that thing I'm just particularly shitty at. And so I probably just picked that fight when you guys aren't picking that fight. But for me, now it's over at Diamond. Now it's kind of warning me, hey, dude, you should remember I kill you. And maybe I will. Probably won't, but maybe I will. Um, Hit point buff to Matt. I know his early game. Crazy. 3 hours and 15 minutes. They started a bit late. Did they come back up? We're at 20. We're at 3:20. Are they back up yet? If they're back up, we might dance. I was not. The plan was not to be streaming right now. So, uh, I'm such an idiot, you guys. I say that in the most loving way of myself. I do not have self-loathing issues at all, but I do find that particularly silly as a misplay. The two buttons are right next to each other on my OBS studio in my defense. They're still down. Okay, cool. That does give me the justification to maybe log off, post this video, and go to bed. My sleep schedule right now, it is noon, 12:23 for me. I wake up at 2 a.m. I take a shower, I have some coffee, and I start streaming at 3. I go to bed at about 10 to 11 at night. So if you're doing the math already, and then I usually take a nap right after the game to make up for a little bit of it, and I have not done that. So I am running on fumes, y'all. And of course I stopped doing coffee kind of like in the last hour or two of the run. Expect so that I could sleep when I had the sleep time. And I usually sleep during my lunch break. But I'm doing this during my lunch break. So anyway, take the dog out. I hope the servers come back up. Cool, Thayran. We will see, buddy. I will see you all in my same bat time tomorrow. I am probably going to put up another video. It's probably going to be several hours after I played the patch some. I'm going to specifically target not the nerf changes, but the interesting. We're going to play with that bird, see what we can do with it. We're going to do a lot of start and restops. Every time the new season rolls around, my 10 win rate just falls through the floor because I will play the first 3 days over and over and over again. Probably won't on ranked, obviously, but I will play the first 3 days over and over and just keep resetting so that I can lock in like what our new lines are and stuff like that. So I will have really good information for you guys. Put some of it up on the video. We'll have the rest tomorrow. But that's pretty much what I do every time there's a patch day. Is I will force every single one of the encounters. I will take notes, so I will update our guide, so we will have all the new encounter information in there just in case anything else changed. Because a lot of times stuff changes and they don't tell us. And then I will just try to force every single new item in the early game at the very least to try it out, and then pick a couple things to try to play late with, get some ideas. Then I'll throw up a video on what I've learned. So that's my game plan for after my nap today, and my job, right? So it's going to be a while. I got things to do, but yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for showing up to my impromptu stream. I don't have my setup right now, so I actually don't know how many people are in watching. Oh well, who cares? However many of you there are, it's pretty awesome. I'm going to my own stream right now just to check. It's pretty awesome. 30 of you, sorry for the reverb there. 30 of you came to watch me just do this silly little patch review. So awesome, you guys. You guys were aware of me streaming about an hour before I was. Cool. Okay. That's it. I will cut this off before I did the chat read babble and throw it up on the YouTube channel for folks that might have missed anything in the first half of this, because there was no announcement that I would be streaming the first half of these patch notes. And then if you want to find it there, you can find it there, and everyone else can too. The thing I'll go over again real quick, just because I think most people might not have been here for it, that I think is a pretty impactful change. I talked about the heal a couple of times, but this is pretty big. I think a lot of us are going to bottom out at some point in this ladder. I think getting to gold is going to be or diamond is going to be incredibly difficult. If they're planning on resetting inside of a month, it's going to be obscenely difficult to get to diamond. It will not only require a lot of plays, but it will require a lot of good plays, especially as you get into the later stuff. So this might be a play the fast shit like you've always been playing the fast shit, and this might be play the hero you're the most comfortable with, and this might be you better learn the hero who is meta and then just play them in order to get yourself to legend. So anyway, all right, that's what I got. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. And I'm going to stop the stream. I didn't know I started, and see you guys tomorrow morning at 3 a.m. Pacific Standard, 10 is it a.m.? Yeah, I think 10 a.m. GMT. Later.